I think the total ended up being something like 30 something girls. Yeah, it was a lot. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today I am sharing the story about how I met my husband. So I love, and I love hearing other people's stories about how they meet their significant others. So I thought I would share mine to celebrate our 10-year wedding anniversary. So our wedding anniversary was actually this past May, but it's been a really busy year. So here I am, better late than never. But I did share this story on my blog many years ago and it was really popular, so I thought that you might enjoy it as well. It's a very interesting, unique, and juicy story, so grab your tea. But in short, we are exes of exes. Before I get into that, I want to share some gorgeous new jewelry pieces from Italo. I love Italo jewelry. I shared about them, I want to say last year, and I still have the jewelry and it looks brand new. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love jewelry. I have an extensive jewelry collection. If you haven't seen it, you might want to check out this video, but I'm really excited to share some new pieces that I will be adding to my collection. If you are unfamiliar with Italo, they have a variety of beautiful jewelry pieces for pretty much any style. It's all very affordable and it's really great quality for the price. Plus, they offer free worldwide shipping. They also offer a 1-year warranty, 60-day return policy, and a 100% safe and secure checkout. Their packaging is also really beautiful, which makes it perfect for gifting. So I'm going to show you the rings that I got. I got 3 of them, and they are all so beautiful and feminine and very glamorous and a little vintage inspired as well. The first one is this gorgeous pink sapphire ring. The center stone is pear cut, and it is 4 carats. And the metal is sterling silver. It also has white stones that go around the entirety of the band. It has a very glamorous yet feminine appearance. I absolutely love that the stones go all the way around the band, and I really love the color of the pink sapphire. It is so beautiful and striking, and it's definitely a statement piece. The second one is a dreamy white sapphire ring. It has an emerald cut center stone at 3 carats along with sterling silver. It is so sparkly and beautiful. I absolutely love the vintage look of it. I am such a fan of vintage jewelry, and this is definitely the type of ring that I usually go for. I also love all of the unique details. It looks very much like a princess ring. The last one is another beautiful white sapphire ring. This one also has an emerald cut, and the center stone weight is 1.75 carats. This one has 18 karat gold plated sterling silver as the metal. It is so beautiful, and this one is definitely more dainty than the other ones. I love the vintage look. It gives me Art Deco vibes. It is really stunning and unique, and definitely a great everyday type of ring. I really love all of them. The quality is really beautiful, and I feel like the designs are super unique, and it's not something that you're going to find anywhere else. I highly recommend. So if you want to check them out, feel free to go down to the description box. I have everything linked there as always, and I also have a discount code for 20% off just for you. And I'm not sure which one is my favorite. I really love all of them, but for now, I'm gonna wear the silver one because it goes with my outfit. Okay, so now going into my story about how I met my husband. So this might be strange for some people to comprehend, but I truly do believe in soulmates, and I believe that my husband is my soulmate. And I also feel like our story is one of fate and how everything happens for a reason, and also a little bit about the power of manifestation. And I know not everyone believes in all of this stuff, but this situation has made me a believer. It has also given me a more positive mindset to trust in the process and to understand that not everything works out the way that we want it to or feel it should, but it works out to our benefit. And sometimes we will get even better circumstances in place of our original wishes. So yeah. All right, so let's get started from the beginning. I was in my senior year of high school, and I lived in a very small town. There was nothing to do ever. Sometimes my friends and I would go over to the neighboring city to go glow bowling. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically like nighttime bowling, and there's like black lights and glow in the dark stuff and loud music, and it's a good time. It's really fun. I don't know if they still do that, but I really enjoyed it. And we went one time, and there was a group next to us. I don't know how it came about, but we ended up like talking to them, and we're like playing against each other and whatever. So long story short, one of the guys ended up becoming my boyfriend. And I was not the type of girl that had a lot of boyfriends in high school, but yeah, I thought he was really cute. And even though he lived in the larger city and I lived in the smaller town an hour away, I thought it would be fine. You know, it's not really that far of a distance. I didn't have a car at the time, so I would have to like borrow my parents' car to drive over there, but I only drove over there a few times that I can remember. So we didn't date for very long before he left for the summer. But before that, he did take me to prom, and that is a story in its own. I don't even know like why I'm sharing this, but we went to Applebee's beforehand, and he was adjusting his belt, and he basically like dropped his pants somehow. And so he's just like standing in the middle of the restaurant with his boxers, and it was so embarrassing. Oh my gosh, I have never been so embarrassed in my life. But anyways, all right, so after prom, after graduation, I turn 18, celebrate my birthday, and he's already gone for the summer. I'm working, but he did come home for a show. So basically what he was doing is he was traveling for a drum corps. And if you don't know what a drum corps is, it's basically like a marching band slash drum line. So it has all of the instruments of a band, but you are doing formations on the football field. And he was at the competitive level, so he's going to all of these different places. And we had music in common because I was in drumline my senior year of high school, maybe junior year too, I can't remember, but I played guitar in the drumline. And I think that he also played guitar, so like we had that in common, and that's probably it. But yeah, so there was an instance where he came home for a drum corps show, and I wanted to see him. So I went with my friend, and we were standing in line, and someone tapped me on the shoulder. And so I turned around, and it was this girl that I knew, and it was his ex-girlfriend. So my boyfriend at the time, his ex-girlfriend. And I can't remember how we were introduced. It must have been through him somehow, but we were friendly, and so I was like talking to her, oh, how you doing, you know, blah blah blah. And I couldn't help but notice her boyfriend, and he was standing next to her, and I just went, hmm? He was so tall. So I'm 4'11", and this guy is like 6'2", and he is tall, dark, and handsome, and just very good looking. And, you know, of course I'm not going to say anything, but a girl can dream, right? So I thought he was very cute, and I was just talking to them. He was very quiet, so she talked like a lot more while we were standing in line, and then we went our separate ways, and that was that. So fast forward maybe like a month, and my boyfriend is traveling all over, and I get this mysterious message from a stranger, and I can't remember if it was Facebook or MySpace. It must have been MySpace, like due to the time period, but yeah. So anyways, this girl messaged me, and she's like, hey, I wanted to let you know that your boyfriend has been cheating on you with all of these girls, including myself. And at first I was like, what the heck? If you have ever been in this situation, it's one of those things where you feel so much anxiety and just feel sick to your stomach because you can't understand how someone would do that to you. But at the same time, you're in denial because it's like, no, he wouldn't do that to me. So I was kind of like in this weird situation, and I mean, what do you do? So I talked to her more and I asked her to keep in touch. And so we actually kept in touch, and we became friends through it, and I actually still have her on my Facebook. But anyway, so she would let me know like what's going on, and in the meantime, I got messages from other girls that were telling me the same thing, that he was cheating on me and that they were a part of it. I think the total ended up being something like 30 something girls. Yeah, it was a lot. So not a good look. I, however, did not want to approach him about this, especially since he was traveling all over. I felt like this was a conversation that we needed to have in person. And so I didn't say anything. And he wasn't really like contacting me at the time. I don't think that text messaging was like really a thing back then. We didn't talk on the phone a lot, but we did keep in contact a little bit. So time goes on and I find out that he's going to be home. And I don't know if this is like home at the end of summer after all of his competitions or if it's like somewhere in between, but I found out he was going to be home, and I was told that he had a girlfriend that was coming home with him. So I made it my mission to drive over there at night, an hour away, to surprise him, and that I did. So I got there and I saw them unpacking everything. It was dark, and this is so not me. Like, this is not something that I would typically do. It is totally out of the ordinary for me to like confront people. Especially at that time. I was very, very insecure and didn't think it was good enough, and you know, that kind of thing, which is why like all the cheating allegations hurt me. But I wanted to get to the bottom of it, and I wanted to see for myself, because a part of me still didn't believe it. So I was in the vehicle for quite a while trying to figure out if I was really going to go through with this. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to do it. I walked in the pitch black to this building, the band room. In front of the building, I saw two shadows sitting on the curb. And lo and behold, it was my current boyfriend's ex-girlfriend and her boyfriend, the ones that were behind me at the drum corps show. So I was asking, is he in there? Is he with a girl? You know, that sort of thing. And they told me he was. And so there was a little window on the door, and I peered in. Just imagine like my face on this window, and I saw them. So I saw my boyfriend and this stranger, this girl, making out, clear as day, and my heart sank knowing that it was true. And they consoled me, and I can't remember if I waited for him and broke up with him on the spot or if I waited until I got home, but either way, I broke up with him, so good riddance. And this was in 2005, like this whole situation was in 2005. And shortly after, I joined a drum line as a guitar player, and guess who was a part of the drum line? It was the girl that my now ex-boyfriend was making out with. And at first I was like, heck no. What in the world? Like, what are the odds? Well, I got to know her, and she was really nice, and we actually became really good friends after that. So yeah, there were no hard feelings at all. Fast forward a little bit, I was single for quite a while after that. It really hurt me, and I didn't trust guys at all. I just thought they were all gonna cheat on me, and so I just stayed away. And then maybe like a year later or so, I started going on dates and stuff, and I haven't really been on that many dates, to be honest. Maybe like 2 or 3, but I just wasn't vibing. Like, we just didn't have like a good connection, no shared interests, like that sort of thing. It's totally fine. I feel like there's someone out there for everyone, but these were not my contenders, and that was fine. The feeling was mutual. So then I had another boyfriend, and this one lasted about a year. He was the next boyfriend I had after this whole cheating scandal. And I found out that he was also cheating on me with more than one girl, and it did not feel good. And the way that I found this out is that we went to see a movie. I don't remember which one it was, but he got up to like get popcorn or something, and he left his phone, and a message came in from a girl. And this is not something I would ever do, but I just had this feeling that I needed to look in his phone. And so I did, and there was like nicknames and, you know, things like that. And there was some texts in there that were not appropriate at all for someone that was supposedly in a relationship. And the whole thing was just like really weird, very like secretive. And that is not really how I wanted to live my life. And he came back, I showed him the text, and he was very uncomfortable knowing that I knew what was happening. Long story short, I also broke up with him. And then I took a break again because I was over it. And to be honest, I was never one of those girls that needed to have a relationship. You know, there's always girls that like always have a boyfriend, and that's fine. Everyone's different, but that was just never me. Like, I never felt like I needed anyone, and I did not need to depend on anyone, and it was fine. So it was probably around this time that, I'm getting chills, that I wrote a list because I was fed up. I wrote a list in my journal of qualities that I wanted in a future partner. And I wrote everything on there from looks to personality traits to beliefs and morals and things like that, because it seemed like finding a good guy was really hard. And that was that. I put that away, never looked at it again, and shortly after, you will never believe what happened. My ex-boyfriend's ex-girlfriend's now ex-boyfriend reached out to me on MySpace, like just randomly. We had only spoken the 2 times, in the line at the drum corps show and when I was catching my ex-boyfriend cheating on me. Those are the only 2 times that we had ever met, and total time spent with one another, like just a few minutes, and he didn't really talk that much, so I didn't know much about him. But he had this picture on MySpace in this green shirt, and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is like so beautiful. I was like blushing, but also I was like, wait a minute. This guy does not really know me, and he's like reaching out to me on a whim. And basically his message was just like, hey, like, I don't know if you remember me, but I just wanted to, like, you know, say hi or whatever. So I guess what had happened is that he and his girlfriend had broken up. They had been together for maybe like 3 years or so. So I just started talking to him on MySpace. And we started getting to know each other, and he invited me on a camping trip, and I was like, no thanks. I still make fun of him for that, but he was just being like really sweet. So anyway, this was in August of 2008. We were talking to each other and we had so much in common, and he asked me out on a date. So we went on our first date to the movies and to Johnny Rockets. And I remember coming out of there, like walking to the car, and this guy, older guy, was like, kiss her, kiss her, kiss her. And he did it because my husband is such a stand-up guy, and he would never do anything to make me feel uncomfortable. So, you know, there was no goodnight kiss or anything like that. I think there was probably like a hug. But after that, we went on a few more dates, and then finally we went on another date to Color Me Mine. If you don't know what Color Me Mine is, it is basically like a place where you go to paint ceramics. They have lots of different ceramics to choose from, and you just paint. And I've always been very artsy, so he took me there to create some art. Before we left, he showed me his piece. So my grandpa was really sick at the time. He had just suffered from what we think was a stroke. And so I painted something special for my grandpa, and my husband painted something for me, and it said, will you be my girlfriend? So he officially asked me to be his girlfriend with this pirate sign. And I had it hanging up in my room like forever. It actually broke a little bit, but it's been glued together. But this is like one of my most prized possessions. So this was in November of 2008, just a few months after we had started talking and after he had approached me on MySpace. However, I had already planned to move away. Before he had reached out to me, I had signed up for a school up north and I already had everything planned out. I was going to be moving 5 hours away for art school, and so we would have to be in a long distance relationship for this to work. And my school, it was a bachelor program, so it probably would have been like 3 or 4 years. And he was okay with it, although he was very sad. And I was really upset too, because I was like, dang, like I found the right guy and now I have to go away. So I was afraid that he would think it is too hard and break up with me, but that is not what happened. So come January of 2009, I moved up north and he drove the moving truck and he helped me unpack. He helped me buy groceries, and then he took the train back down. And even though I lived so far away, we both made such an effort to talk to one another, to be with one another, and I think that that is really important. So when we weren't able to see each other, we would talk on the phone. Every single night we would fall asleep on the phone. So we would talk until we got tired, and then we would just let the phone go. So the phone would still be on, but we would both fall asleep. And every other weekend we would try to see each other. So either I would drive down there or he would come up and see me. Usually he would come up and see me and he would help me grocery shop and we would go explore different areas. We went to like downtown Sacramento and went to Lake Tahoe. He had never been, so I wanted to take him for the first time. We would just do little things like that. And I was very broke, like very broke at the time. And he would always bring me food and buy groceries for me just to make sure I was taken care of, because food was very hard to come by during those days. Keep in mind that this was also during the recession, 2008, 2009. It was very hard for me to get a job, and I explained this whole situation in my school scam video. That's right. The school that I went to, I was scammed out of thousands and thousands and thousands, like tens of thousands of dollars. I told the whole story in this video, so if you want to check that out, I highly recommend it. Yeah, just getting the word out there about those types of schools. But anyway, if you watch that video, you know that the school did not work out and I ended up moving back home 7 months later, thank goodness, and my husband was very excited. So I moved back and, you know, I was kind of like all over the place, but I was just happy to be with him. Fast forward 3.5 years. We had been dating and he took me back to Color Me Mine for a date, and I painted a Minnie Mouse, which I still have. It's like on display somewhere. But he painted a treasure chest to go with the Skull and Bones sign that he painted previously. And what are the odds that there's going to be a Skull and Bones and a treasure chest? But he told me to open it, and so at the time there was like some kind of birthday party, like a little girl's birthday party, so little kids are running around and it's really loud. And so I open it and I saw this. And I'm like, what the heck is that? It's like an egg. So it's a metal jewelry box. And then my ring was inside of there. And at the bottom it said, "Marry me," but he actually spelt it wrong because he was so nervous. So they had to redo it for him. But this was on March 31st of 2012, right before April Fool's Day. And of course I said yes. And let me tell you, it was like time stood still. No one else around us mattered. Like everyone running around, it was like no one knew what was happening, but it was so profound. It was such a big part of both of our life stories. and it was just really sweet, and I don't think it could have been more perfect. I didn't immediately announce it to everyone. I think I just told my mom, but she already knew because he asked for her permission. And on April Fool's Day, I posted a picture, and I was like, not an April Fool's joke. So we were engaged, and we saved up for like a year, maybe like a little over a year, for our wedding, and we ended up getting married in May of 2013, and that is our story. And it has been nothing short of a fairy tale. I feel so lucky and so happy, and I just can't believe that I found the right person for me and how it all worked out. I forgot all about my list that I made, and then I thought about it and I'm like, wait a minute. And so I looked over it and I'm like, oh my gosh, my husband has every single quality, like every single quality. It is crazy. So thank you. But he is literally the most wonderful guy ever. He is so thoughtful and kind and sincere and loyal, and yeah, he's just amazing. And I feel so incredibly lucky. You may not know this, but he is actually my photographer. So when I started my blog, my sister was taking some of my pictures, but then she moved away, and I needed another photographer because I didn't have the budget to pay for someone. And so I asked him if he would do it. He stepped in, not knowing anything about photography, and it was supposed to be just like temporary, but he ended up doing it long term, and now it's something he loves to do, and I feel like he is so talented. It's kind of one of those undiscovered talents that you never know that you have until you try. So yeah, I feel like he is very, very talented at taking pictures. We also have our dating anniversary coming up in November. So not only do we celebrate our wedding anniversary, but we celebrate our dating anniversary each year. And we have almost always gone to Disneyland for every single anniversary. There were a few where we didn't go, and also, you know, during the 2020 era when no one was going anywhere. But this year we are going to Disney World, and I am very excited for that. So 15 years, it's got to be good, right? But yeah, anyways, that is the story about how I met my husband. I know this was probably like super drawn out, but I do feel like everything kind of came together in a really beautiful way, and it was worth mentioning. So if you are out there and you have not met your special someone, don't give up. I truly do believe that there is someone for everyone out there, and you never know where you're going to find them. So our story happened before all of the apps, and to be honest, I'm actually really grateful for that, because I feel like it would make things so much more complicated. But yeah, neither one of us have ever been on a dating app. Don't know how they work because we met during the time before all of those apps exploded. But if you are someone that is in that situation, if you have not met your significant other yet, and if you are someone that has been in a situation where you've come across a lot of frogs, don't despair. I promise you, there are still good people out there. There are still good ones out there. If you have been cheated on or not treated well, or, you know, anything, then have the strength to just let go. Because I feel like when you let go, you make room for the right one to come in. And you never know if you're blocking that by staying with the wrong person. And this is not advice. This is just from personal experience. I don't want to be responsible for anyone's relationships, but I do just want to put that out there to have faith and to stay positive and to trust the process and to understand that things do happen for a reason, that things work out in mysterious ways, and you just never know where it's going to bring you and who it's going to bring you to. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will leave the blog post version down in the description below if you want to read it. I mean, it's basically the same story. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to leave a big thumbs up below, and don't forget to share and subscribe. I would love to have you as part of the community. If you want me to share more videos like this, just let me know. I would be happy to. I feel like there's so many different things I could talk about. And I would also love to know your love story. If you have one to share, please feel free to leave it in a comment below. I love hearing about how others meet their significant others, and it would just really make my day. So please feel free to share. Also, if you love feminine fashion, beauty, and lifestyle content, don't forget to check out my blog, lizzieandlace.com, and follow along on my pretty pink Instagram at lizzieandlace. I will see you next time. Bye!